this week's MVP segment on High School Cube News. I'm Beth Long here at the Marist Sectional, where this week's MVP has held his own against top players all season, and he's only a junior. Simeon's Ed Morrow.
You had a pretty great junior season for Simeon. Ed, what were some things that you really focused on improving and you saw improve throughout the season?
Well, my main focus was, just being more competitive, coming out hard. I knew from last season that it was a pretty tough season, even with some of the top players in the country. And I just tried to work on, putting the ball on the floor a little bit more and knocking down the mid-range shots.
You went against Jahlil Okafor with Whitney Young this season a couple of times. Matched up very well, many people were saying. What were the keys for you with that?
Well, the whole thing was experience. And I could say, as I said, I practiced with the #1 player in the country before. And he was a great post player. And so you have to figure out ways to defend the post. And playing on the circuit with those guys at AAU, you play against the top-notch competition. And I also played with Jahlil Okafor and Cliff Alexander over the summer. So I had the opportunity of guarding those guys in practices and played a few games with them. So, I had a better understanding of their games.
Simeon basketball is known just kind of as a dynasty here and throughout the rest of the country. How much have you learned from the coaching staff and the players that came before you in a Simeon uniform?
You learn to value the fact that you're wearing that name on your jersey. And it's a really big thing when you come out in public and, people really look up to you. And so throughout the years of me being here, I really valued that. And that's just a motivator for me to get better and to prove to everybody that, you can get better at anything you want to.
Another couple of words that get mentioned a lot about you is just how hard of a worker you are. How much does that set you apart from others?
Well, when I first came in this program, I wasn't the most athletic, I wasn't the biggest or the strongest. And I realized, playing with Jabari and Kendrick and Kendall Pollard, and those guys are very competitive and bigger than me. I knew I had to do something that they weren't doing. And so I looked at things that they didn't do to get me on the floor. And then I got a better understanding of what it took and that working hard could carry you farther than just your skill set.
Mom played basketball at the University of Nebraska. Dad played football at Nebraska. Athletics run in your family. Just how many important lessons have you learned from those two?
My parents, every day I go home, they always give me, tell me great game. Then they come down, they break the game down to me and let me know what I could get better at. And just being around my parents, just the experience of them going to school and they know what it takes to get there. So it motivates me.
You're already getting quite a bit of interest at this point on the recruiting trail.
Yes.
How is recruiting going?
Recruiting is actually going pretty well right now. It really wasn't my main focus because of the season was going on. I haven't taken an ACT yet. I have the GPA, but I had to be focused to make sure that I could accept the offers. And so it's going pretty well right now.
And now you're one of the up-and-coming faces of Chicago hoops, probably something you never dreamed of back in Lincoln. What is that like to be at the top of one of the top areas for high school basketball?
Well, the motivational thing here is my mother, she was a great basketball player in the city of Chicago, alum at the University of Nebraska, and she motivates me every day at any and everything I do, even in school. And that's the key thing, just working hard in school first. And if your mind's off school, then you'll do great on the floor. You gotta make sure you give it your all the first time. I'm always told that. You're never gonna always get a second chance to do something right.
Congratulations on a great season, Ed. Once again, Ed Morrow, Simeon, is this week's MVP on High School Cube News. Make sure you stay tuned for next week's.